Hello everyone, it's Lennon and welcome to the channel and welcome to the dark half, almost the dark half of the year, okay? I am so needing the fall vibes, okay? Really so needing it. And I've kind of been thinking on death a little bit, you know, in my melancholic, I hate summer vibes. So I've been feeling the death energy coming into me, and that doesn't sound right, does it? Death energy. No, it's not coming into me, it's flowing through me, and I'm tapping into the threads. Okay. Recently I have been loving this poetry collection by DJ Irvine, who is a poet but also a photographer, and he includes some of his photography into his along with his poetry, okay? And it's called Death Composed from the Shadows. So it's a poetry collection. I got it for a few dollars on at a used bookstore that I go to, and one of the poems caught my eye and I bought it sight unseen, okay? And it's called Angel of Life. The angel of life still loves death, even though he's off committing murders in the night. I fell in love, you guys. I fell in love with that. So, it's probably a little bit of this poetry that's gotten me into the death. It's probably because I need fall. It's probably because I'm sick of summer. But y'all know me. I like to have some activities on the channel. So, along with this and needing the death vibes, needing the spooky season vibes, needing fall vibes, I decided to come up with an activity that would boost us, if you will. So that would conjure some feelings. Now, before we get into it, I want a little preamble here that this activity / video, whatever, is directly related to a few other videos that I have on the channel. The first one right off the rip is my necromancy video. I did that a while ago. I think it was like 2 years ago. I'm sorry, my nose is itchy. 2 years ago? Anyway, I talk about necromancy, but in a more spiritual sense, like necromancy spirituality, and how I can use and how I have used necromancy in my practice. So that's kind of where this video is going to go. So if you want to refer back to that video, I'll leave it up here. And then also 2 more videos that are a little bit more recent on the channel than that is my build your own deity video that I did like 6 months ago, and I went through like the whole thing, whole hubble tried to make I did make a PDF, like a little activity sheet for you to download and print and take notes with on building your own deity. And then also, like, in relation to that, I did a video called like witchy monikers that I need and qualities of the goddess that I need to possess and things like that. So I'll leave all of those up in the cards or down in the description box. But this was an activity that relates abstractly to those other videos. So please go check those out if you are interested. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one that came up with this idea for summoning yourself from the dead, okay? But that's what we gonna be doing today. I came up with also a PDF file for you to download, okay? It's gonna be on my Google Doc file, and you can download it and print it and take some notes with it, okay? But we're gonna go over the worksheet, much like I did in the Build Your Own Deity video. We're gonna go over the worksheet, okay? I will leave it on the screen so you can see for a second. Yeah. It's so pretty. But all of this got me thinking about if someone wanted to summon me from the dead, what would they use? Now, like I said, I'm probably not the only one that has asked this question or that has posed this question, but I liked the idea of talking it out and then putting it to a paper so that we could really journal about these things and I don't know, maybe get to know ourselves a little bit more. As you can see, I'll post it again. I put a little circle there, right, with like a pentacle and some little circles and lines, and it's just so cute. Okay, if you do not cast circles, you don't have to. Okay, I want this to be as tailored to your practice as you would already be doing. Okay, and if you don't perform necromancy, and if you don't summon spirits and demons and things like that, that's okay. This is for fun. If you would like it to go into your practice, like for summoning your ancestors, summoning a beloved dead of yours, you know, ex-boyfriend, like I don't give a fuck like what you do with this. Okay, for me, this is for fun, and this is in relation to like summoning me from the dead. So I'm having fun with it. You can have as much fun or go as serious as you want to with it. That's on you. Okay. Now, some things that I wrote on the sheet were just some like word prompts for us to bounce off of. All right. Now, one is like elemental representation, right? Like say you cast a circle, you know, what we're casting a circle out of what, right? Are we using chalk? Are we using paint? Things like that, right? Salt. And then sometimes in circle casting, we have the cardinal directions represented with the elements, right? North, south, east, and west, with something that is an elemental representation. So earth, air, fire, and water. And depending on which, like north being water, actually north is earth to me, but see what I'm saying? So it's like whatever your cardinal direction / elements are, what would you use? And I got to thinking, like, if I was summoning myself, or if I was telling someone how to summon me, what would I tell them to put for their elemental representations, right? Like, instead of water, would it be coffee? Because, you know, I'm a coffee connoisseur. Or would it be sweet tea, you know? And for earth, would it be bones? Because I'm a bone lover. And like, instead of dirt or sand, would it be like, instead of a shell, would it be a bone? I'm pretty sure it would be a bone, right? And then for air, definitely Palo Santo smoke. Palo Santo crosses multiple realms for me, because it's also a scent and a smoke. So it's definitely probably something that I would use for air. And then fire would probably be my firestone. I actually have a firestone that looks a lot like the Philosopher's Stone over like in my collection of crystals. And if I was dead, that would be passed on to someone, and then they would have to like obtain that from whoever inherited it. I'd probably use my firestone. But I also love bonfires. So I think that, like, I mean, I'm not saying do a mini bonfire in the circle, but maybe to represent the bonfire, the circle is the bonfire. Like, maybe we're doing this outside. And that's another thing. Like, I wrote down indoor, outdoor. Like, are you going to be summoning me in your living room? Or are we going to be outside? Like, are we going to be like at this outdoor altar of yours? But I like the idea of having it outside, bonfire in the middle, the circle of protection is cast around the bonfire, and then around that we're having the elemental representations, we're having coffee, maybe this is like barbecue style, you know, maybe there's, well, I don't know, see if it was barbecue style, like what, you know, I would do, like a night of frivolity. I don't know if I would want to be summoned with a lot of people around, you know, like I want more of an intimate connection, like, and don't summon me to ask me some stupid question, you know, like, oh yeah, hey, where'd you put the Lord of the Rings DVD? Like, no, don't summon me for that. As much as I am at peace with death, I feel like I would be at peace in the afterlife, so I don't think I would have much, if any, unfinished business. So if I'm getting summoned or conjured, it would be to have an intimate conversation with someone, not vague conversations. Conjure me when you want some wisdom, you know? And that's another thing. Like, would you be a relative of mine? Like, would you be one of my grandkids? Would you be the spouse, partner of one of my children? And you're like, I don't know how to handle them. You know? Would you be a relative? Would you have to be a blood relative to be able to summon me? I think that's important to figure out too. Because if it could just be anyone, then anyone can summon me. But then what would we talk about? So, I don't know. There's something to that. Would you need something of mine? Like a prop, right? Like I said, with my firestone, or a necklace, or my skull ring. You know, my kids are always fighting over who's going to get this when I die. Because I never take it off. You know, it's just something that I've always worn. It's just one of those things that can't come with me, that everyone seems to think represents me. But because I want to be cremated, it can't be burned with me. So, like all of my rings, really, all the ones I never take off, could be used, I guess. That could be a fun thing to think about. Is my jewelry is as a prop, you know, because of my essences in it. So, would someone have to have something of yours? You know, like a hairbrush with hair, like actual DNA, something with actual blood on it, or something with something, I don't know. So, does it have to be like something like that, or is it just something that you loved? What about crystals? Because I already talked about my firestone, but what about, like, if I mapped out a circle, which I don't work in circles, but for the purpose of this video, we're doing it like most people. But anyway, in the circle of this paper that I wrote, it was like empty in the very center, and I thought that would be where I would put like a crystal. And it was like, which crystal would I be? I'd probably want to be tourmaline, but I think for energetically, I'm more of a quartz. I'm more of a plain quartz kind of girl. You know, like I would like to be an obsidian or a tourmaline or but I'm actually probably more a quartz or an opal. And knowing that about myself is important too. I'd like it to be a dark crystal, but I don't know, if there's something to just plain quartz, you know, that you could find out in your yard. And, but it feels sacred. There's magic in that. Is there music playing? I mean, if you're gonna summon me, there better be something musically going. Now, I'm probably more a fan, now my favorite instrument of all time are string instruments, so it would have to be like a cello or a violin, and I prefer live over the stereo. So maybe you know someone that plays the violin and you just call them over, or and you don't have to play it good. You don't even have to play it good. Just the pull of that damn violin string is enough to like waken me up from the dead. I'd perk right up, like I'm like in the underworld. I'm like, someone's trying to call me. And then you a few more chords and then sip of coffee, and you twist my skull ring around your pinky finger or whatever, and then I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, so music. What is playing? What is playing when someone's conjuring you up? Okay. Now, like I said about Palo Santo, that's a scent. Do you have a personal scent, like an essential oil that you wear or love, that's like your signature scent, a perfume scent, a candle scent? Would that have to be present too? Like, would that have to be like wafting in the air, your scent? Like my dad's, right? Like, he's passed on, and I don't have any unfinished business with my dad, so I'm not gonna disturb his peace. But sometimes when I'm like walking places, I can smell his cigar. That's his scent. So if I ever needed him, I would probably buy one of his cigars as part of that, you know? But, I don't know, it's just, that's something. So sense and that olfactory, the nature of summoning is probably really important. To get your senses and your energy flowing, I think that's important. So, yeah. And this could even go, like, if you're outdoor, like, if it's an outdoor thing, the scent could be geared more towards, like, the musk. Like, are you more woodsy? Are you more sea and sand? Are you more crisp mountain air? You know, are you, like, you could, like, think of it in those ways, you know, aesthetically. But then that leads to the next thing that we got on the list, and that is times. Right? So which season is it? Which day of the week, if that is important? Is it my birthday? You know, does it have to be my birthday? What time of the day? Like, is it morning? Is it noon? Fucking balls out noon? Is it hot as blazes noon? Is it twilight? Because that'd probably be mine. Is it midnight? Is it the witch's hour, 3 a.m.? Like, which time of the day are you at your best? That's probably what I would put here. And then what day of the week? Do you have a special day of the week that you feel at your best? Right? Or, like I would like make this so severe. Like, I was born on a Thursday, that's my day. And then pick a birthday that is on a Thursday, like, in the future that it happens on a Thursday, like, that's a very, very big day for linen, right? So conjure me on that day. I don't know. So time of year, so season, day of the week, time of the day, I think those are important to think about too. Like, do you have any importance in those things? Do I have certain symbols, right, like, that are important to me? I know that the triquetra is tattooed on me, and that's one of my highest symbols. But also the crescent moon is a powerful symbol for me. But then also, like, I have a few more that when, like, I would draw them, people would think about me. So, do you have a symbol? Do you have symbol representation? Like I said before, like bone or snake, you know, what is your, like, a spirit animal type of a, like, imagery, right? Do you have to have a picture of me? Do you have to have, like a representation of the symbols that would represent me as a person? That's something interesting too. So symbols might be something. Glamour magic. What are you wearing to summon me? Am I requiring anything of you when you summon me? Do you have to wear a specific color? Are you wearing white after Labor Day? Because that's a no-no for me. I'm just kidding. Oh, it's just something, like, I'm trying to be fun with this, but do you have to wear, or would I demand that somebody wear a specific color? Or a no-no color, like, don't wear lime green or whatever, you know? So, is there a specific glamour magic color clothing that you have to wear when you're summoning me? I don't know. Okay. Now, one of the last things that I wrote down in this section that we can think about when we're summoning you from the dead is sacrifice. Okay? Now, way back in the day, people sacrificed a couple of things to commune with the gods. Okay? And if they thought that the gods were angry, depending on the gods' emotional status, okay, there usually a sacrifice involved. So would there be a sacrifice? Now, this can be a symbolic sacrifice, okay? I'm not talking about you going out there and slaughtering anything, okay? But a symbolic sacrifice would be like leaving me like the coffee, but that's not a sacrifice. Like if you're sitting there drinking coffee, that's enough for me. You don't have to leave it for me or pour it into the circle ritualistically. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I like the sound of that though. But like, are you offering something to me as an act of sacrifice? Are you giving me a secret? I don't know, like something that you're getting rid of, and you're expelling something in an act of shed and letting it go and expelling it. Not necessarily to give it to me, but to almost make yourself unburdened for the chat that we're about to have when I'm summoned. Like I said, this could be a secret. You write that thing down, cast that shit in the middle of the circle, and be like, here's my secret. Come on, let me tell you about it. And I'd be like, I don't know why I keep going like this. Like I'm going up like one of those cobras. You know, like I'm getting summoned like those cobras in a basket. I don't know why I'm doing that. I guess because when I think about someone summoning me, it, like I spin, like I'm spinning up from the underworld, like through the circle. I don't know, like, but I'm spinning. I don't know. So sacrifice was something that I put on the list. Now, you might not require a sacrifice. So sacrifice is something that I put on the list, but you might not require a sacrifice at all. But for me, it was important because I thought about like the whole unicorn thing, like only those pure of heart can summon a unicorn. And it's like, okay, well, does the person have to be pure of heart? They can't have any evil, malcontent, they can't come at the summoning in a malicious way. Like, just because they're mad at me about something, okay, doesn't mean that they can conjure me. They have to be somewhat pure of heart to conjure me, to summon me from the dead. Now, you could go like way specific with this. Like, how long, when you're summoned, how long are you going to stay? Right? Like, this is an all-night endeavor? Or is this like, you get 10 minutes, say your piece, you're on a time limit, okay? Or is this, like how long are you going to be like active in the, in the world of the living? Are you going to be like a shade, like an apparition, like transparent? Or are you going to look like yourself, corporeally? I don't know. It's like all these thoughts, right, had come out. And when I made the sheet, it was so fun to think about. Now, I know that to some this may sound morbid to think of yourself in this way, to think I'm already dead and someone is conjuring me. But I think that it gets us to a place where we are less scared, because if we know on some level that someone could conjure us, I don't know, you know, or the fact that we can be like reincarnated, like whatever the case is. I'm sure that doing this, if you're comfortable with doing this exercise, it's just for fun, and it's just for us to dive into the spooky season with some kind of activity, you know. So anyway, go to the link below, my Google Doc file, and print it, or just download it and then like take some notes, you know, cast your own circle, draw your own circle, and let me know your thoughts, because I was really excited to get this activity out there for you guys. One last thing, I'm so sorry. One last thing, at the bottom of the sheet, I'll put it back on the screen for you just to end this. At the very bottom, I put words of power or incantation, and I want that to be like, I was thinking about it, like I have all of these things like props and symbols and coffee and elemental representations, and got the time of day just right, like whatever, like, but then at the end, it's like, how would you actually call me forth? What words of power or spell or incantation would you use, right? Would this be a poem that I wrote? Would this be something that I always said? Like, you know how, like, sometimes I have my mom in my head, and, like, the little things she says, and, like, I would definitely use one of those for her, right? So is it something that like, oh, you always say that, or, you know, like, oh, this is your best poem, or this is your favorite poem, or this is your favorite words, or is it something simple like, I call you forth, Lennon, you know, right now, and then just like snap, and it's I'm there, right? So after you have all these things and representation set up, are there words of power or an incantation that you must recite to do the deed, to actually split the realms and call me forth? So, and this isn't for me, okay? This is for you. Insert your name. When you think about these things, think of it in terms of you. And it's kind of nice to think too about who would be doing the summoning. Especially if you go into like where I did, like pure of heart. Okay, this is probably one of my children's spouses, and you know they're having some problems, or they're having some issues, and they want some advice, or they want some wisdom, or they just want someone and they have no one else, and they want to bring me up because they heard that this, that, and the other, you know, about me. Or it's a long relative from way in the future, and they've got my blood running through their veins. Like, how crazy is that? Ugh. Or my family blood running through my veins. Like, would that be potent? You know, like, yes. I hope that I have some relatives in the future that are witchy. I really do. Because I have nobody else in my family that is. So it'd be nice to have like a great grandchild that is witchy and finds this out, like in my grimoire. Some shit's happening with that. But anyways, okay, so happy fall, happy spooky season. Let me know down below what you're gonna be doing this season. What are you getting into? And let me know if you download and think about this activity. I hope everyone's having a good day. Much love.